restore all that money that I took out of the library.
No, I didn't say
but
that.
he didn't say that. Instead, he said, "You run such a good meeting. I wish you were back on the Board of Finance."
Not to say that Mr. Harney isn't doing a good job.
So it wasn't exactly what I wanted to hear. But thank you, Mark. That was very kind of you to say that. But in all seriousness, I just want to say very, very few brief introductory remarks, and then I'm going to turn the podium over to our executive director, Lisa, over here, who has all the details and can answer the questions better than I can. But speaking just from the Board of Trustees standpoint, I just want to reiterate, as I do every year, how much the library means to the citizens of the town of East Lyme and the greater community. And I'll illustrate that by one quick story. When I first became a member of the library's board, it was right after I left the Board of Finance, about 15 or 16 years ago. One of the things that annoyed me for many years is when town residents, East Lyme town residents, would say to me, I was looking for something really esoteric, something way out, and I'm sure you guys didn't have it. So I went to Waterford, and I found it at Waterford. I mean, you guys have a good library, but I know if it's something really unusual, I go up to Waterford and I get it up there. And that always bothered me. And we've made a lot of effort over the many, many years since then to change that. And I have to tell you, if you ask people in the southeastern part of the state now, which means, I'll say Old Saybrook to Groton, you know what you hear now? Just the opposite. People will say, I couldn't find it at my library in New London, or I couldn't find that in my library in Chester. So I went over to East Lyme, and sure enough, they had it in East Lyme. And I think that sums up the progress that our library has made in many, many years. And that is very largely due to the generosity of the Board of Finance over all these years. You've been extremely generous in granting us the budgets that we requested, and what I just said is the fruits of that generosity. So I want to thank you for that, and just end by saying I hope you'll be as generous again this year. So thank you. And Lisa?
I thought you were going to tell us you got all those people to move to Waterford, and then they could say they came back to East Lyme to find it.
Good evening. My name's Lisa Timothy, and I have the honor of being the town's library director. I do believe I have the best job in town, and so thank you. And I appreciate serving in that capacity. Our current library serves, currently we serve about 12,000 people. We have that many registered patrons who are actively using our library. I, like Dave, want to thank you for the past support. We do have an excellent library here in town. And I also want to thank you for the painting of the reading room. It looks about 1,000 times better in the library in the past few weeks than it has. It hadn't been painted in 24 years. It does look like springtime in the reading room if it doesn't look like it anywhere else. The library's been here for 118 years officially, and several centuries actually unofficially. There's always been some sort of library and book lending situation in southeastern Connecticut even before there was a United States. And in spite of rumors to the contrary, we're not about to go away just because there's e-books and technology. You hear a lot of talk these days that libraries are useless, when the actual truth is we couldn't be any more busy than we are. And there's three reasons for this. We are essential. What we do matters to the town of East Lyme. We perform urgent and vital services, and we occupy a unique role in this community. Our library matters. We protect the larger investment in the school budget. Studies show that kids need to read 6 books during the summer just to maintain what they've learned during the year. And our library, over an 8-week summer session, has hundreds of kids sign up for reading programs and has between 6,000 and 7,000 visits every summer in just 8 weeks. We really boost the bang for the buck that you're getting from the school budget. We are East Lyme centric. We are local. We do what Amazon.com can't do. We show you how to use your Kindle. We show you how to use your iPad. Bring in whatever device you have, and we have someone who can sit down and show you how to use that. That makes us very relevant, and we have quite a few people who do come in and do that. We are also increasingly important for people with vision impairment because those devices are increasingly being used for people who can't see very well. They can get special programs on those devices to read. And with our aging population, that's a vital service that we provide. We are urgent. We are living in the midst of an information explosion, and we are able to go ahead and bridge that digital divide better than anyone else in town. We help unemployed people in town apply for jobs. You'd be surprised how many people haven't used the internet who come in and say, I just lost my job, I need to apply for something online, and I need help. And we set them up with an email account and show them how to do that. And occasionally in the 11 years I've been here, we've also helped homeless people. There are homeless people in East Lyme, and they do occasionally come in and ask us for advice on how to find housing and different social services. And finally, the academic literature shows that libraries always have a positive impact on the economy, the local economy. Hundreds of studies have been done, and not one of them has ever denied that fact. What we do is unique and valuable here in town. We do provide books, but more importantly, we provide a place for people to come and discuss those books and ideas. I've hosted a book group for more than 11 years. We've met once a month, and we've discussed topics such as the role of higher education in our society, overcoming substance abuse, and the promise of local food sources. There's nowhere else in town, really, where you can get that kind of diversity of information and people to sit down and exchange relevant information about those topics. We provide interaction in the digital age. We're increasingly becoming a society where everyone's hooked to a phone or a device or social media, but not seeing anyone in person. When you come into the library, you'll talk to a person when you check something out. We have resisted the urge to go ahead and have people self-check out because we want to have that personal interaction. People come into the library and see each other who haven't seen each. You'd be surprised if you sat there for a few hours. How many people come in and say, I haven't seen you in years, you know? The connection that we make is a vital service to this community, and we do a good job filling that. The diversity of what we cover all ages at the library, from cradle to grave. Our staff represents that. We have young people just out of college who we are mentoring into the information profession. We have people who have lived here for 6 or 7 decades who know everything in town, and there's certain things that they just have to answer because they know that. And we are open almost every day of the year. We're closed a few Sundays in the summer because we can't really compete with the beach, and we probably don't want to in the middle of July and August. And we closed for holidays. Other than that, we're open most days of the year. And when we're not open, we have 24/7 access to ebooks, databases, and other items online now. So we are open when almost nobody else in town is. We are cost efficient. We are a mere 1.58% of the town's budget, which means out of every dollar spent, we're just a little bit over a penny for all of the services that we provide. We run a network of 41 computers, and we do not have a technology, not even one full-time technology person, and we don't have a technology budget. We have a computer maintenance account of $2,500, and we do all of this in addition to running the library. We run a rather large network. We serve 1,200 people who come in to use the internet or wireless every month. That's a large service. 23 of our computers are more than 8 years old, and for the public are 8 years old or more. Some of them are still running Windows XP, which Microsoft doesn't even support anymore. We have to keep very old computer books on our shelves because we need to use those to run our computers. That's how cost effective we are. We have that many computers that are considered ancient in technology terms. On the wonderful advice of Mark Nickerson, we have installed a new copier system. We were starting to have to pay for expensive cartridges every year. We've ordered 2 brand new color copiers. One of them was delivered today, and we're going to raise the prices of color copies in the library to be in line with what other libraries have. And instead of paying on that budget line each year, we'll now make a small profit that we'll be able to use to update some of that technology. So we are working very hard to be cost efficient and to take into account what we need to do.
Lisa, I read your cover letter dated February 3rd that referenced just what you talked about, the printer cartridges. Is there any change to what was submitted to us within the package we got here?
No. The package that you gave them, the package I sent in December and the one that you got are a little bit different. I did meet with Mark and make $7,500 worth of cuts already.
All right. So what we have in front of us...
What do you have? What is that line?
You have the most updated budget.
Okay.
You have, it should be.
Approved by the
You're
Board of
asking,
Selectmen.
is this letter been incorporated into this budget?
Correct. Because it references a couple of weeks needing to get that worked out. So I just didn't know if what we have dated March 11th incorporates all that.
That should be the most up-to-date, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we are in the process of, like I said, implementing the color copier, so we should actually, for the first time in a few years, realize a small profit from the copy machines instead of paying for them. It had been that way for years, but with the amount of information going back and forth. It had the amount of printing that we do it changed. We've already made numerous cuts in the budget. We need to buy ebooks. Our demand, we have 2,000 residents using ebooks, 450 of them a month. We're not being able to keep up with the demand through Lion. I did set aside a separate line for ebooks this year, and we have eliminated it already in this process in order to be efficient. I've lowered staff salary raises that I had first intended, and again, the computer maintenance line we've lowered because we are going to be able to fix that with the new copiers. I understand that a lot of what your budget depends on is going to be affected by what happens in Hartford. I don't know if you're aware of it, but the state library has been hit with a 30% cut that has been suggested. That impact on East Lyme could be anywhere from $2,000 to $44,000 in our budget of services that we could lose between now and the end of the budget session up there. So we're a little worried about that. We may need every penny we have just to stay afloat if that comes through. And that's not counting the elimination of the C card delivery. So in addition to what's going on in here, we have much bigger budget problems in Hartford. And I just wanted you to be aware of that. So in conclusion, we're a vital, irreplaceable, and urgent town service. We're very cost effective. We've already made quite a few cuts to this budget. We're facing large cuts from the state, and any further cuts would probably reduce the hours that we're open, which would be frustrating because in the past year we have opened an additional hour on Saturdays and eliminated a holiday so that we would be able to provide more service, and we'd like to maintain that level of service for the town. East Lyme is an excellent place to live. It's a fun place to live, and a big part of that is our library, so we'd like to keep it that way.
Thank you.
Thank
Do
you.
you have any questions?
Any questions?
Yes. First, Lisa, thank you for being so committed and having such passion for the library. I appreciate
Oh,
that.
thank you.
Secondly, maybe you can bottom line me here. So
I'll try.
I see a $45,000 increase from last year's budget to this year's.
Yep.
All right. If I gave you a pie,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of information here, and I'm trying to,
Yeah, we
I'm
have
looking for a box,
right?
right?
All right. Of
You know what I mean? Where the largest
Percentages.
cuts are. I understand this, the traditional salary, we can't do anything about it
right.
piece.
Actually, salary, Social Security, retirement, the things that we can't change are pretty much what we're raising.
So,
There's
there-
a slight increase to our Lion membership.
yeah. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around how much of this do we think is out of our control with health insurance and salaries?
Most of that raise, actually.
So if I look at the sheet in here,
Let me grab it.
yeah, it's page 5. Take your time. Take your time. It says Form A. I'm not even sure if I'm looking on the right page here, but I'm really looking to just try to see where the big picture increases would be. And maybe you have it presented here and I'm not zeroing in on it. That's possible.
Okay. The percent change on Form A is broken down there, the
Yeah.
3.02.
Except the totals don't match the total budget item. So I'm thinking I might not be looking on the right page. Right?
Where do you mean that if they don't match?
So on the page 5, Form A,
Yep.
projected year end for 6/30/15
Mm-hmm.
is 1.1 million. On the general fund budget sheet for 15, if I'm reading this correctly, it's 1.036. So I'm thinking I'm not looking
Oh.
at the right breakdown.
There's gotta be some revenue.
Form C is the revenue.
Form C,
Form C is the revenue that we expect. That's
okay.
the total that we're submitting for what we want is the
Oh, okay.
expenses minus the revenue that we expect.
I got you.
And while we're on the revenue page, Form C there,
Yeah.
part of the reason I'm asking for an increase also is that we don't expect to have as big a carry forward this year. In the past, Town Hall has overestimated the amount we'd have to pay for health insurance, and we've had a larger than normal carry forward. They've been much more accurate this year, so we don't anticipate having that carry forward. That's the base of our budget, and so I crafted it so that to take that into account so we don't get stuck. Also, the state aid and the non-residents, those are lines that you can expect to disappear if the state budget goes through the way it's supposed to. There's $3,800 there that's, $3,200 there that we expect to go away if the governor's budget goes through.
Okay, so the credit forward line is really the revenue line that decreased.
Yeah, only because the health insurance costs that we have are more
I
accurate
see.
this year. And I don't want to shortchange the library and end up not being able to,
Right.
to provide the services that we've always provided.
Okay, so, yeah, I think the thing too, I was looking at 4.4% is a little bit larger than the average increase that we've seen, so I'm trying to
Right.
zero in on what the culprit is for that. Because salaries are usually 3%.
Yeah, ours are,
I think that's what we had for salary increase, we had 3.02, if I'm looking at that Form A.
actually, no, that was with the cuts that I made when I talked with Mark Nickerson in January, I think it
Okay.
was. Our salary line will now increase 2.52%.
2.52% for
3.02.
salaries.
We
Okay.
have lowered that already, which is frustrating because we have a staff that, scotch tapes computers together that are 10 years old and makes them work. They're worth every dime.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand it. I'm
Yeah,
not,
part of the increase is because the carry forward,
Mm-hmm.
the health insurance, which is out of our we get a number from you guys, we put it in, and then we give it back. That's been a little bit, we don't expect that to have as big a revenue this year.
so the materials line, for instance, if I look at Form A,
Mhm.
the end of 14 was 95.4, the end of 15, 106, and now we're projecting a 2.8% increase.
Yep,
So the
109.
materials, I'm understanding, a piece of that is going to be the printer cartridges. Do you see where I am on Form A?
Yes, actually, the increase for that is in the database line because we are giving a little bit more money to the overdrive fee. We get our ebooks from a central Lion. Lion is the consortium of libraries that we belong to. It's 28 libraries. We buy in bulk, and that sort of regionalizes and gives us discounts. We were not meeting demand by 3/4.
I know, because I'm one of your customers,
Yes, I
and I
know.
took them with me on vacation, my
yes.
little ebooks, so thank you.
So what we did is Lion has upgraded their fee for the database this year so that we were able to buy a lot more books. And East Lyme has also, we've kicked in a little bit more money to buy some ebooks this year to start meeting the demand that we're not meeting. In
Yeah.
there. I did also, like I say, add a separate line for ebooks, and we've already eliminated it because I would like to add more. But right now we are covering some of those costs with the increased database fee, and that's where some of the materials, most of that is.
Okay.
The book budget is flat. Periodicals, 500. That may or may not happen. What's happening is a lot of periodicals are going under because so much is going online. But that's the cost that we can expect to increases.
And you expect the printer cartridge issue to take care of itself with
yes.
the new strategy here of?
Yes, the service contracts that we bought into with the copiers that we signed up for include the cartridges. So in our monthly payment, we will get the cartridges. We were spending $800 every 6 weeks on printer cartridges. That's how much our
They hold you
libraries use.
hostage big time.
Yeah, so we've ditched that, and we've signed up for a copier, leased copiers that'll cover those cartridges. And we've raised the price as well, so it should cover the copy of the lease. So
Okay.
by juggling some things, we have fixed that line.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
Hearing none. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome, thank you.
That's two very passionate people. David Jacobs, Lisa Timothy, they do great work for
They
us.
do.
It was
thank
a
you.
pleasure to sit in on their trustee meeting because I was surrounded by maybe 20 people at a table, all with passion and, just rolling up their sleeves and doing something for our community. So it's appreciated all the way around.
Thank you. Like I said, I'm a happy employee.
Thank you, Lisa.
Keep it up.
Park and Rec and Youth Services, Department 421. Oh, thanks, Joe. That's fine. Okay.
It's always a good idea, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Give,
Hey, buddy.
that's great. Or give them to Karen. You want to give them to Karen? She'll put them in packages. No, we'll give them out, what, Monday? Okay.
Another one, really?
Thank you.
If you turn to page 3. You want me to show Dave, like all the other budgets, I'm going to let you take it.
Okay,
And,
great.
You know this intimately inside and out, and run through the major differences.
First of all, I'm Dave Putnam. I'm the Parks and Rec and Youth Services Director. And I just wanted to point out, I gave you each, just like our annual year in review for 2014, just giving you some of our highlights and that kind of thing for the past calendar year. I can tell you that I have 8 full-time union employees that work for us. Other than that, the highlights are in here, some of our initiatives that went on last year and how we did as far as revenues are concerned at McCook and stuff. So just some of that pertinent information from last year is in this booklet. Something that we found is a good tool for us to provide all the information to our residents and to the boards and stuff. So as far as my operating budget is concerned, the one area I'd like to touch base on is our part-time seasonal labor account for 12. In that shows a pretty big increase in that. I have 51 seasonal employees that the minimum wage increase affects. And that is the thrust of that increase. So that is, as of January 1st, it went up. It'll go in again January 1st of 16. It'll go up, and then it'll get all the way to 10/10 January 1st of 2017. So
How much did it go up by?
it went up by 65 cents. I believe it went from $9.15 to $9.85.
So where do I see the line item in here for revenue last year? I know I just saw it.
Yeah, there's a-
137.4.
Right, for McCook. That's straight McCook revenue.
Okay.
And that was, I know my number's a little less than that in my projected for next year. We had a tremendous beach season this year where we only lost really 3 days of weather related. So I want to be really conservative with my revenue numbers as far as McCook is, because in our beach pass sales, because we are so weather dependent that if we get a rainy season, we're going to
Right.
be well below that.
Uh-huh. But it was also only our first year, too, so it could go up. Did we raise the cost for passes from last year to this year?
We did in certain areas. So
We
the
d-
areas
we did, you said.
We did, the Park and Rec Commission did in certain areas.
Uh-huh.
They raised it on the day pass fee, went up $5. For a non-resident, went from 20 to 25, and for a resident, went from 5 to 10 for the day passes. And then a season walk-in pass for a non-resident went from $20 to $50. So in those 3 areas, the Park and Rec Commission increased the fees.
Are we obligated to have the beach staffed with lifeguards from a legal standpoint?
No.
No.
No, but I would feel real uncomfortable not guarding our beaches.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting, I just wanted to
But there
understand.
is no state mandate, no,
Okay, so-
correct. We could sign it, and, as long as you had clear, concise, and consistent signage, you could do that. I would not recommend that, just from a safety standpoint and a public relations standpoint, we have $1 million assets down there, and I'd hate not to staff it.
Well, and the people. We don't want to lose the little ones. I just was trying to understand what our commitment, our liability was there.
Right.
Did you say a one-day beach pass went from $20 to $50?
No, 20 to 25.
Oh, okay.
For a non-resident. For the season walk-in pass for a non-resident, went from 20 to 50.
Non-resident.
Non-resident. If you're a resident, all you need to do is show ID to walk in. That's it. So it's
So
just
it's
for the
zero
non-resident.
cost.
What's that?
It's a zero
Zero
cost
for a resident to
for a
walk
resident with an ID.
To walk in.
All season long.
in. But a non-resident for the day is $10, and for the season it's $50 to walk in.
The bathrooms down there, what are we looking at time frame there? We're trying to build something there, am I right?
At Cheney,
Yes.
yeah, it's in another round of grant funding. Not sure if it'll get funded or not.
All right, so it's not in this budget?
It's not in this budget, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's capital improvement budget.
Okay,
and
so it
we're
wouldn't be in
there
here.
Where you'll see it when you review the capital
Right.
improvement plan, and we'll know when we know. Apparently, there's
I wasn't
Yeah,
here
we-
for the
yeah.
capital
So-
review, my apologies.
But it's in there, and we're hoping to have a steep grant awarded. I think we were denied last year on the steep grant, so we're hoping this round will be approved.
Mhm.
It's a $500,000 bathroom facility because of the location where it
So
is.
I'm going to ask the same question again. Is there any way for us to consolidate or pool resources for any staffing with other departments, custodian, I don't know, anything? The guys that ride around at night with the little trucks. I don't mean to oversimplify, but you know what I mean, right?
You know, at least after I said that we were going to combine, look at combining forces with custodians,
Yeah.
we still need that many bodies. I
Well,
was just thinking, we
right,
still
but
need so many bodies per building, per square foot.
Right, but you understand what I mean by economies of scale. This department doesn't need one right now. I mean, I don't.
Supervisor,
it-
a head
yeah,
of
I
the
mean,
department is where you'd save.
It's better to have all the pencils in one cabinet versus
Yeah.
I have a box here, you have a box
Yeah,
here.
right.
I'm oversimplifying, but
Well, I think, and we've done that with our department taking over youth services 3 years ago.
yeah,
We
we're
went from,
definitely a step in the right
Two
direction.
full-time directors to now I'm doing both, and, we've combined an administrative assistant position where we went from 2 to 1, so, we've kind of done that already with on the youth services park and rec side.
So you still have two commissions?
I do.
Okay, and are there plans to consolidate that?
Not that I'm aware right now. I think I would need to look into the grant funding that we get from the state on the youth service side, that you have to have a youth service commission.
Okay,
So I would have to make sure that we would still get that funding, because it's about $26,000 that comes in as far as the funding is concerned, so.
okay, well, that makes sense.
But it's
And
nice,
they-
the commissions have done a nice job for me, so their meetings are on the same night. So your
Oh, that
service
is
is at
nice.
6, Park and Rec is at 7, so that was nice of them to do that, so I don't have to come out.
So
on
Julie
another
must
night
love
on the
that.
week. So, yeah. So,
Like Dave pointed out, there's an economy of scale there. I mean, we've
Yes, sir.
combined that. Dave
Right.
is a great department head
Yep.
running both of those. And you know what? Anytime we have anything and we don't know where to put it, we go, Dave, could you run this? Whether it's East Lyme, Celebrate East Lyme Day was once a town and a Main Street function that has morphed into a Parks and Rec function. I might add that the senior drug and alcohol-free graduation parties every year have morphed into, under Dave's umbrella, it's still a plethora of volunteers that go out and raise money, but we use his intelligence, his talents, and his liability, and the umbrella of putting it under Parks and Rec. I'll add one more: the Regional Theater Group. We put that under the Parks and Rec. It's a thriving regional, volunteer-based theater group. And one more thing, I'll just throw one more thing out. It's more under the youth services, but the Youth Coalition, which is what used to be ASAP, the alcohol, the drug-free
awareness coalition.
the
right,
drug
yeah.
awareness, prevention, abuse, alcohol abuse, comes under Dave's umbrella as well. So we're putting a lot of things there. Dave has his puts expertise in everything he does, and we're getting a lot out of it, for sure. Economies of scale.
No, I appreciate that,
No,
but we
it's
need to ask.
It's important.
That's what we're looking for, is seeing if there are ways we can save. Do you put your head together with the guy from Waterford, just to?
Brian? Oh, sure.
I
We
don't
meet.
know, but yeah.
Yeah, the Park and Rec and Youth Service, we have regional meetings every month.
Oh, good, all right.
Yeah.